Hello, I want to do a quick vlog on opening up my bank account in Puerto Rico because it wasn't extremely easy. So I'm just going to get right into it because this is like my 27th take and I have lost some steam. All right, the first point is that I am looking for a place that is both in San Juan and close to where I live. I live in Humacao in Palmas del Mar, down here on the Lower East Side, and then I go up to San Juan once a week. My co-working space is up in San Juan. I know people up in San Juan, and San Juan is normally my errand day because, I have the car. I'm out of the house, which, my office is in the house. So it's like the day that I get to do stuff. So it's important that I have a bank branch in San Juan, and I have a branch near where I am at most of the time, which is in Humacao. So most banks were, but it was, it's as simple as like, how good is the parking in front of it? Like how much of a headache is it going to be to go to the bank? And those were the little things that I was keeping in mind, which is why I was using Google, because I wanted to see the location of everything, see how close it actually was to where I am. And I did want to make a note on if you are looking at the west side of the island, like Rincon or Mayagüez. Actually, there's a lot of Mayagüez, but one thing that I discovered when I was in Aguada, we stayed in Aguada for a little while we were nomading it. There wasn't access to as many banks, as many branches of as many banks. So just keep that in mind. So if you are going to go on the west side, just make sure that the bank that you're looking at opening has a branch near you, because San Juan is a little bit further away from the west side than it were to be if you were over here on the east side. So, okay. It was kind of hard for me to find a single place that had everything. I'm not specifically saying that you need to use Oriental. Oriental is one of the banks that is here. There's also, I'm not even going to go down the list, but there's a bunch of others. But this is the one bank whose website seems to have the most comprehensive list of what to bring. The other websites are like, it's just a little hard to find the paperwork that you need to bring to open up the account. And I have found that this is and it's even missing one thing here, actually, because I already read it. Again, this is my manyth take. So I already read this a couple times. And I think it's missing the employer identification number, which I did have to bring. But anyway, you have to bring, I'm going to go full screen so that you can see this a little bit better. Again, this is kind of like a let me Google that for you moment, but I'm hopefully just showing you the one link that you would have spent days finding. So as you can see here, you need the LLC resolution, the articles of organization, certificate of formation, the operating agreement. And the operating agreement is a document that your lawyer will make for you or your CPA is going to make for you. A good standing certificate, which I actually didn't need a good standing certificate because my business is younger than a year old here on the island. So I didn't need this. But you also need a list of directors and officers, merchant registration, and certification of beneficial owner. Basically, you need to have all of that paperwork in order to open up your bank account here. And the reason why I went 3 times to try to open up my bank account was because the first time I didn't have all the papers that I needed. And then the second time I had all the papers that I needed, but then my license does not have my current address. So that is tip number 3, is make sure that your license has the right address, the address that you are at right now. Because my business is based in San Juan, at Coco House in San Juan, that's the address that appears on all of my business paperwork. But my ID needs to have my home address. And when I got my license, I still had not bought my house. So my Puerto Rico license does not have my current address. So obviously I'm going to have to update that first of all, but I don't need to update that in order to open up the bank account. I just need to bring an electric or a water bill with my name on it and my home's address. So that's another thing. If your ID does not have your current address on it, you're going to have to bring a bill or something, and they specifically said water or electric with your current address. Then that'll make that ID valid. So make sure that you bring all of that paperwork. Obviously, don't take this one video as your one source of information. Look things up, call the banks, but hopefully I've given you just a little bit of what I learned along the way that might help you. All right. Good luck.